Hello everyone, welcome to another week of the Confidence Connection Show. I'm joined by the amazing Dipal and Jules this week. Can't wait to talk to them both. First of all, we're talking to Dipal. She is an internationally acclaimed mindset and transformation expert, a global speaker and spiritual mentor celebrated by clients across the globe who refer to her as the body whisperer. That sounds interesting. As a recognized expert in the field of energy medicine, Dipal is a creator of the quantum body awakening technique. Her globally taught course teaches individuals how to become the master of their own health and well-being. She's helped thousands in over 92 countries break free from chronic health problems in conjunction with or where Western medicine has failed, by identifying the root cause of their symptoms and increasing the life force energy flow. She helps their clients create powerful and profound shifts inside and out, allowing them to find more joy and inspiration in all aspects of their life. She's worked with celebrities, healthcare practitioners, and many more. So I'm so excited to have you. Welcome. Thanks for joining us and taking time out of your busy Sunday afternoon to speak with everyone today. Would you like to tell us more a bit about yourself and your background and how you got to be where you are today?
Yeah, thank you so much for having me here, first of all. And like you said, my name is Dipal Shah. I am a mindset expert and health strategist, aka the Body Whisperer. And I help people learn to heal themselves. My passion is to help as many people as I can to listen to their own intuition and trust it so that they can have optimal health and well-being. I came from a pharmaceutical background. I worked in the pharmaceutical as a representative selling medications for 12 years. And for so long, I had my own health issues. And sometimes, those times where you just want to explode because there are no answers anywhere. Conventional medicine just can't serve you. So here I was stuck with my own health issues. And that's what really got me trying to figure out what is going on. And for me, it just kept getting worse. When you have a health issue, it can be very debilitating. I couldn't eat. I couldn't sleep. I was in pain all the time. And I didn't know when the pain was going to strike. And I don't know how many of you feel that way, that sometimes when you have chronic issues, these pain points, like these different areas of your body will trigger this pain, and sometimes the same area. And for me, it was in my gut. And at one point later on in my life, I had kidney stones, UTIs, yeast overgrowth, ulcers, depression, panic attacks, anxiety, PTSD. I mean, I have been through it. And it makes you laugh now because when you look back at your life and you kind of look at how you've dealt with your issues, whether it's health or anything in life, it kind of makes you laugh when things have gotten better. You're like, wow, you know what? There I was struggling so much. And I know so many people are still struggling with health issues. And that's why I do what I do. I lived day by day. So trust me, I completely understand. Because sometimes there is no cure, and sometimes conventional medicine gives up on us, right? How many times have you been told, or the doctor has told you, hey, I can't help you anymore? And so that's how I felt. And so I worked on my body, but I not only worked on my body, Bronte, I worked on my mind. And with complementary alternative medicine, by incorporating yoga, meditation, self-improvement techniques, even affirmations. But best of all, what really helped me was energy healing. Because with energy healing, I found these profound shifts within days to months, and it was just continuous. Because I could really understand what I was holding on to, that my emotions were causing my symptoms. And trust me, I was very emotional, and I was holding a lot of emotions. And research actually shows that we as humans hold 90% of our emotions that are repressed. So my body started going through its own healing process. And what I went through, and what I learned was that the body can heal itself if we allow it to, and if we're open to it. And again, we are on this phenomenal journey of life. And I wanted to learn everything about it. I wanted to learn everything about energy healing. And working with the conscious, the subconscious, the energy systems of the body, and really just healing the person as a whole rather than masking the problem. Because in pharmaceuticals, we give you the medication, but now, am I really getting to the root cause of it? Will it come back, or will it even help? So for my experience, I realized that there's a deeper meaning to our diseases of the body. It's not just the physical symptoms that show up on the surface of the human body. And I knew through my training and certifications and the knowledge of Eastern and Western medicine that I could help so many people, because healing truly happens on so many levels, whether it's mental, physical, emotional, and even spiritual. And that's how I like to look at the body now, rather than let me help you mask your problem. I want to help you get to the root cause of your problem. And so that's just a little bit about my background. So thank you for allowing me to share.
No worries. That was amazing. I was like, yeah, I just wanted you to keep going. So I can definitely relate. I've definitely been there where Western medicine has almost quit on me with something that I've had where they just couldn't find the answer. It was only once I went to an alternative healer that was in 2 minutes of being in the room with them. They're like, oh, have you had this? And I was like, yes. No other doctor or specialist has asked me that question. They're like, that's what's causing this other problem. I'm like, why has no one asked me that? No one, in 2 years of trying to solve this problem, no one had asked me that. And, you know, that person got it solved with wheatgrass in like 5 minutes. And it's crazy.
Amazing.
And that kind of opened my eyes to it all.
Exactly. And I think a lot of people are skeptical, right? Because for me, I came from this analytical place in my mind, right? It was all about research and numbers and, you know, show me that. It's all black and white. But when you start losing hope like I did, it's like, okay, you know what, God? I am open to anything and everything. Just give it to me. So healing can be spectacular.
So
and it can come in different ways.
Yeah. Did you realize how sick you really were before you left your job, or was it only once you kind of stopped and slowed down that you realized just how sick you actually were?
Well, the interesting thing is I knew I was sick. I just didn't realize how much because I didn't have time, right? When you're busy working, you know, 8, 9 o'clock to 5 o'clock in the evening, you really don't have time because then you're taking care of the kids when you get home and, you know, the night just goes by, right? But what happened to me was I denied it too. I was thinking that, oh, maybe it'll just go away on its own. But it wasn't going away. The reflux, the burning, the inflammation in my stomach, like everything was just getting worse. And I just got tired of dealing with it. And that's when I said, you know what, I have to do something about it. This is when I realized, you know, it just occurred to me that it's time for me to leave my job. Not only was I unhappy in it, right? It was the fact that I need some self-care and I need to do some deep diving into my own health issues because it wasn't just the digestive issues. To tell you the truth, the emotions that I was talking about was control and anger. And so all the time that was taking over my life. And yeah, I denied how sick I was. And we all want to deny it because it's so much time required to take care of it. But when you do, you feel good. And that's when you are at your best. That's when the self-confidence comes through. That's when the self-determination, that motivation and everything about you flourishes. That's when you start leading your life rather than your body, your sick body leading you, right? So yeah, I left my job and it was the best thing I ever did. And it's beautiful how energy healing, which I never imagined me doing, fell into my lap. I feel like it was a road that the divine led me to. So I'm so grateful.
That's amazing. That kind of leads into my next question was how, it's a big shift that you made going from pharmaceuticals to self-healing. So how hard was it to wrap your head around that idea that you could self without these pills, like without all
Yeah.
the things that you'd been taught and working in for so long?
Yeah. So for me, I remember when I first left the pharmaceutical industry and I was being given supplements, right? And because when I went to the chiropractors, because that was the very first alternative thing I tried, was going to a chiropractor. I had never been to a chiropractor, but I was loaded up with supplements. Nobody ever teaches you that your supplements is your spice box. You have what you need in your pantry. We're just, well, for me, I'm going to speak about me. I was just too lazy to use it. And I wanted an easy way out. And my pantry looked like a pharmacy. So that's when, I took a step back and I said, how can I heal myself without having to take all these supplements, without having to take pharmaceuticals? And you know what? I'm not opposed to pharmaceuticals at all. There is a place for them. Here's what I teach people, okay, is that either incorporate energy healing into your practice of whatever you're doing, into conventional medicine. Don't just do one thing alone, right? I have many clients that choose to do just alternative healing, and that's perfectly fine. That's your choice, or a combination. And for me, there have been times when I have had to do a combination of therapy, and I'm okay with it. And that's why we have all these things in our lives, because it's available to us. And why not utilize it? But use your intuition, use your guidance, because nobody's going to give you the answers except you. And that's what I want to teach you to trust. Trust yourself. Because there's been so many times when I've been to the doctor and they're like, you need to do this testing and it requires this invasive procedure. And I'm like, no way. Believe it or not, Bronte, I got rid of a kidney stone just through alternative therapy. I did Ayurveda, and I did my energy healing. I did my yoga and my meditation. Those are the 4 things I incorporated. Within 5 days, my kidney stone was gone. And the doctor actually wanted to do an invasive procedure because after a month, he said, oh, it's still there. We're going to have to go in and blast this thing. And I'm like, oh, no way. And I made sure that I went through the right steps for my body because my body did not want that. However, there has been times where my body did want pills and to incorporate, alternative healing, and that's perfectly fine. So, yeah, it was hard initially to get away from the pills and selling pills. But I just love being home with my girls and then learning as much as I could about energy healing so that I could help my family and then others.
That's so powerful. Thank you. So how does energy healing work? Because there's people who might be curious after hearing this, but they have no idea what energy healing is. So do you want to briefly share how it actually works if someone's interested?
Yeah, so energy healing is working with the body's biofield and the vibration to clear blockages that cause health issues. Because of the environment that we live in, we have EMFs, we have toxins, neurotoxins, chemicals, processed foods. All these things create havoc in our body. They create disharmony. So the way we lead our lives is very stressful. I don't know one person who is not stressed. It's how we manage these things. And sometimes we tend to incorporate these outside forces into our body and create the environment. Whatever's on the outside becomes our inside. If you see stress on the outside of you, that stress becomes internalized because now you're like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do, right? I mean, you anytime you get bad news, not good news, but bad news, you internalize that. And you can feel your heart racing. You can maybe sometimes some people get very anxious and start to worry. You are creating that external environment into the internal environment of you, and this creates disharmony in the body. And so what I do is I work with the body, the biofield, this energy field around our bodies that I can see. Everybody has this. There's also chakras, which are aligned along the spine, and there's other energy systems that people cannot see. And they work to help process the thoughts, feelings, emotions, everything around us. So let's say sometimes the electricity goes out. If you're having bad weather and the electricity goes out, the lights go out. They don't work, right? The same thing happens in your body. If there's a kink in the circuits, certain parts will not work properly. And so I work with these electrical systems in the body intuitively and pick up on the vibration and energy of it so that I can allow your body to heal. And that's how energy healing works.
Yeah. That's amazing. And now just before we go to Jules, do you want to quickly share what's been like your biggest learning curve in this whole journey, or in your biggest sort of success that's come from that learning?
Yeah, so the interesting thing, and it's quite simple, but my biggest lesson for me along this journey has been to let go of control and learning to accept everything, because I was a worrier. I couldn't sleep at night. There were certain nights because things would just keep me up. And I had to learn to let go, because until I learned that about me, that I can do that, that's when things started to manifest in my life. And the other thing was to say yes to life. So there's two things, actually. It was to let go and to say yes to life. When I started saying yes to life, that's when things started to open up for me in the bigger picture and the bigger realm of things. And so, I learned that you can definitely live life when you don't necessarily become attached to life, to the things that happen in your life.
Yeah. That's great. Well, thanks so much for sharing your story. I'm sure so many people have been inspired by that. We're going to talk to Jules now, and then I'll bring you back on at the end to speak a little bit more about confidence and what confidence means to you. So thank you so much for sharing your story, and I'll talk to you soon. Hello, Jules.
Hi, Bronte.
How are you?
I'm very well, thank you.
Thanks so much for being here. So Jules Brooke is the founder of Handle Your Own PR and She's the Boss, which is a fun sounding name. Having run Handle Your Own PR for 10 years, business owners how to do PR and building a PR is a SaaS platform. Jill stumbled into television in late 2019, hosting a show on Ticker TV called She's the Boss. Since then, she has interviewed over 150 female founders for her podcast and YouTube shows, starting a weekly Zoom lunch for female founders, and is on a mission to start a TV network for women in business, which sounds amazing and like the perfect person to align with what we're doing here. So thanks for joining us. Do you want to share a little bit more about your story and your background and how you got to be where you are today?
Sure. Lovely to be here first, Bronte. Thank you so much for inviting me. And I love a confidence coach. I think that confidence is super important. So love what you're doing. Where do I start? So Handle Your Own PR started actually in the recession that happened in 2009, when I realized that we were helping a lot of small business owners and entrepreneurs to get publicity. And then the GFC hit and everyone peeled off and said they couldn't afford it. And I suddenly had that moment where I thought, hang on, the media really needs stories, and business owners really need publicity. Why don't I just teach them how to go directly to each other? So that's what I've been doing really since 2009. And then at the end of 2019, I saw a post on LinkedIn from a guy I'd never met before called Aaron Young. And he had posted saying, I've decided to start a TV network. I'm looking for people to interview. And being the publicity person that I am, I put my hand up and said, you know, I'd love to do the interview. And from that, we got on really well. I interviewed with him a couple of times. He said, I love your energy. Will you come and co-host the lunchtime show with me? And that's really how it all started, because from that, I said to him, yes, I'd love to, but may I also host a show? And there is absolutely nothing on television about women in business. So can I start a show about women in business? So that's really how it all started. It's a combination of that and COVID hitting and the lockdown and me starting to run lunches for women, and it grew out of that.
Yeah, that's so great. I love that you like me. That's kind of how I ended up here, through the Her Story Circle TV that was already up and running and being approached to come join that. So I love that we have a similar story. Both obviously fans of bright hair. That's great. Love the hair. But I'm the same. I'm so passionate about sharing, helping people and women in business build their confidence, or people that are maybe looking to build a business and are still in the general workplace who just need that confidence to go do what it is they actually want to do in life. So I love that we're sharing a similar story. So do you want to tell us a bit more about what the show is about? Like, is it an interview show like this? Is it like, do you work with the ladies afterwards to help them build their businesses? Or tell us a bit more about that.
So it is a show where I'm sharing. So my mission for She's the Boss is to shine the spotlight on female founders and women doing extraordinary things in business. So my shows are interviews. When I had the live TV show, I used to get 2 female founders to come on and we'd talk about their career journey. Now it's just one at a time. I've got a YouTube channel, so I still do TV interviews, often with really extraordinary women from all around the world. And then I have my podcast as well. And all of it is, what I'm interested in is, how did you get to where you are now? So for all of it, I've literally asked 3 questions. I say, what are you doing now? Why are you doing it? And then how did you get there? Take me back to high school and tell me how your career has progressed. So I don't work with them afterwards. It's literally just the whole purpose is to share their story and let people know about these incredible women out there doing amazing things to sort of, change things in the world.
Yeah, that's so great. And so how did 2020 change things for you, and how do you transition with all the big changes that happened last year?
Well, it's funny because firstly, I guess I've worked from home and I've been online for years now, maybe 10 years. So it wasn't a massive shock, but what was a shock to me was how many people really took it as the end of their world. I mean, I was surrounded by all these women who were just spiraling, going, this is the end of my career. This is the end of my life. What am I going to do? Everything I've built for the last 20 years is disappearing. And I just didn't see that kind of catastrophe. And I wanted to help women, I guess, to lift women up. So the first thing that I did was I moved my PR accelerator program, which is part of the handle your own PR. I literally in 12 hours turned an in-person event into an online event, where I match people with journalists and they're able to talk with the journalists and the journalists advise them. So that went online and that was fine. And then because I had just signed up to Zoom, and I just started, I think I was on the 2nd or 3rd real life lunch for women, I just thought, why don't I just bring it online and give Zoom a try? So I posted and said, okay, I'm going to do an online lunch on Friday, grab some bubbles, grab a sandwich, and let's just come and chat. And I made it all #no agenda. and hashtag no pressure, because I feel that there are lots and lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of events for women where you have speakers and, you know, it's that format of have someone speak a bit like this. And I just wanted something that was no agenda. So let's just meet each other and see what comes out of it. So I tried it and it worked really, really well. And at the end of it, I said to the women, great, let's keep doing this. I'll see you next month. And they went, I can't wait that long. And so I thought, oh, well, I'll just start doing it weekly. And I've continued since then. So I've done about, I don't know, 80 lunches nonstop now. And I do them every Friday for any women running their own businesses that want to come and network and meet other women. And we're all about helping each other. So my big thing, and I'm also an activator for CEO Network for anyone that doesn't know about that one. And it's all about asking. It's as women learning to ask for help. So I'm a big one for tell us what you need and let's see whether someone here can help you.
I love that. I love that. And I love that you know, the last big crisis, you transitioned and you thrived and grew from that. And now you're doing it again. And I know that I keep reading in the past few years, like I was still in school during the last crisis. In the last few years, I keep reading success stories, and it's like almost every success story, it was almost through finding that opportunity during the financial crisis, like
That's
you
right.
did, and seeing where those gaps are. And so it's weird to say, I'm bad saying this, but we're here to share our truth, that I was almost looking for, I was like, as an adult in the working world, I hadn't been through a crisis. I was almost looking forward to the next crisis, because I'm like, that's where the opportunities are going to be. You know, unfortunately, it came with a virus and not just a financial crash, but I was almost excited. Like you said, so many people were thinking their life is over, their business is over last year, and I was just sitting there quietly excited, like this is where the opportunities are going to be, to put yourself out there in the new world, however it's going to look.
I agree totally. I think innovation happens out of times like this, and I guess for me, out of setting up the lunches, that led me to setting up a podcast. I have had absolutely so many women, you wouldn't believe it. I've got like a waiting list of about 40, and I've done about 90 to 100 1-hour interviews in the last 12 months. It's literally just launched a year ago last week. And the TV YouTube channel, I started in August or September last year, and I've done 50 1-hour interviews with extraordinary women from around the world on that as well. So, yeah, it's all just sort of come together. And it was all meant to be, really, because the day that so basically Ticker TV, my situation there was that the guy was saying to me, who runs it, was saying, I don't think anyone's interested in hearing women talk about business. And I was just going, oh my God, I think you're wrong. And he was saying, that's not what my advisors are saying. And I went, well, your advisors are all old men, so that's why. And this is how the universe provided. I went back to my Facebook group the day that I had finished with Ticker TV and said, I'm not going to do the show anymore. And they said, you have to. And one of the women contacted me and said, she has a media training business, and she said, I've just got rid of all of my TV studios worth of equipment. I've just taken it down and I've got nowhere to store it over COVID. Would you like it? And it was that combination of having all the equipment and my son, who's brilliant at AV, saying he'll do it. And it all just came together. It was all meant to be.
That is brilliant. I love that. Just ask when the universe provides, right? So, and that leads me to my next question, that you are a mum of 3 boys, including twins. Congratulations on raising twin boys.
Thank
I go
you.
out with a twin, so I can imagine what they must have been like. So how do you hope the work that you're doing will influence them?
Well, it already is. So my boys are now teenagers. My eldest is producing all my shows. He's 100% invested in it. He absolutely loves it, and he and all his friends are loving the fact that I'm trying to raise the profile of women. And my twins, who are 15, I think all my boys have seen me working all the way through their lives. They've seen me running my own businesses, so they know that women can do whatever they want to do. And I guess, you know, that's the bit that's rubbed off. I'd like to think that I've raised 3 feminist men.
great. I love it. I think that's so important because that's what's going to help change the next generation is having
Absolutely.
always, young gentlemen like that being raised by mothers like you to see that the world is, women can do anything, men can do anything. I've slowly been changing my part. Like when we first started seeing each other, he was very much like, you're the woman, you do the cooking and cleaning. I said, well, no, we're both working 40 hours a week, earning similar pay. So no, we're actually going to split all the jobs sort of thing.
Oh, good
and
on
then
you.
He ends up catching me out when I ask for help with the car and he doesn't know. And I'm like, but you're the boyfriend, you're meant to know how to deal with the car. He's like, I thought we were equals. That doesn't sound very feminist of you. I was like, got me there. But it's great. I think the world, it is slowly changing that you can just be and do whatever you want, which I love. So what's been your biggest lesson along this journey with what you're doing?
I think probably the biggest sort of challenge for me was when I did lose the Ticker TV show, because so much of the brand and what I was doing was hooked into it. But it's ended up being an absolute gift, because what it gave me was the impetus to start my own YouTube channel. And the YouTube channel is brilliant. Like, I absolutely love putting all that content out there. And the other thing, of course, is now nobody tells me what I can and can't say. Nobody says it's too long or too short. Nobody is saying, well, I didn't really like that guest. I get to choose who I'm interested in, and I get to do those interviews myself. So it was a challenge at the time. I remember crying that morning thinking, oh my God, what am I going to do? Like, I've built this brand, She's the Boss. And by lunchtime, I was floating on a cloud. All right, I'm going to do it all from home. It's all perfect. All the women are behind me. This is brilliant.
Oh, that's so great. I love that. And, like a blessing in disguise. That's so awesome. So what would you say has been your biggest win or success then? Do you think it is that whole transition led into being your biggest win?
Yeah, I think so. And I think, my biggest success with She's the Boss. She's the Boss has just been so easy. I've run Handle Your Own PR for a long time, and it's been a push and a struggle to just educate people about PR and why they would need it. It's easier now, but 10 years ago, people didn't even know what PR was. So it was very, very hard. Whereas She's the Boss has just, I feel like it's been channeled through me, literally. I came up with the idea for the name. I start the show. All these people start watching it. I start a Facebook group. From that, the group then really provided all the stuff to do the podcast, then the TV show. Now I run real life lunches as well. My council is paying me to run lunches for female founders online. And I think that, I guess, one of the things that's been a success is that I've realized I'm really good at motivating and energizing other people. So it sort of, made me aware of a skill that maybe I didn't really fully acknowledge before.
Yeah, I love that. I can definitely feel your energy through the screen, and I'm like, I just want to come meet you in person.
Thank you. I'd love to meet you too. Come to Australia.
I'm going to bring Dipal back on, and we're going to talk some more about.
Hi, Dipal.
Well, yeah, if we could, but we all know. Again. Hello. So I'd love to do a bit of a quick fire round with you both. So we'll start with Dipal, and then we'll go to Jules. What does confidence mean to you? What does it mean to be confident?
So for me, because of my experience, and of course, just like Jules, I love what you're doing, Jules. And for me, I started my own business. I never had my own business, and it did take a lot of self-confidence, trying to figure out, can I really do this? But the more I told myself, yes, I can, the better I got. Even with the technical stuff, I had no idea. I am not an IT person at all. All I knew how to do was turn the machine on and turn it off, do the minimalist. But now it's like my husband comes to me saying, hey, how do you do this? And I'm like, oh, that's easy, But I feel like self-confidence to me is believing in yourself. If you don't believe in yourself, nobody else will. And so that's self-confidence. Believe in you and say yes. Say yes.
That's great. And what about you, Jules? What does confidence mean to you?
Confidence means to me, it's an interesting thing. I want everyone to have confidence in what they're doing, in themselves. I think that's really important. But I said something the other day, and somebody really picked me up on it. And I said, you've got to fake it till you make it. And they said, no, 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 no. There's nothing. You don't want to fake anything, blah, blah, blah. But I actually think that confidence is a case of pushing through. If you're, and here's a really great example. When I first started public speaking, I used to get up on stage and I would be so nervous, as everybody is. And I'd say to the audience, oh my God, I'm so nervous. This is like one of my first few talks. And people would kind of look at you like, yeah, go on, move on. And I suddenly realized that people don't want to hear about your vulnerability in that sense, because they go, well, if you're not that good about it, we're not going to think you're that good. So confidence is about believing in yourself and projecting that you believe in yourself. And ultimately, other people will believe you and you will believe yourself. That's kind of what I think.
Yeah. Thank you. Those are both great explanations. And I think too, it's about being vulnerable, but like you said, pushing through it and not necessarily, it's good to be vulnerable, but you're right, like picking your situation. I've definitely seen people too who go to do speaking and all they do is like, I'm really like, feel sorry for me because it's my first time, blah, blah, blah. It's like, everyone's been there. And if you just, it is hard your first time doing these sorts of things, but you do have to push through it and you're not going to get, a pity party for it. So, and Jules, I know you're not big on the business books and stuff, but Dipal, do you have any favorite books or podcasts?
I have one now.
That have inspired you over the years?
Yeah.
You can share, but Dipal.
I used to, when I first started out in self-improvement, and I love self-improvement books, I will do anything to how I can make myself a better person, a better human, just a better soul and spirit so that I can be happy. And one of the greatest books that I read in the beginning as I was starting my spiritual journey, it was Wayne Dyer. And he wrote this book called Don't Die with Your Music Still in You. And we all have a certain tune within us. And that's what makes each and every one of us unique. However, we like to hide it. We, if we can believe in ourselves, we will be living life rather than living for others. And that's what I feel like this book is all about. So it was very inspirational. And one of the podcasts that I love listening to is this gentleman. He's a mystic and a yogi, and his name is Sadhguru. And he's from India, and his teachings are just phenomenal. I don't usually follow a lot of gurus from India, but this one really stood out at me because he really teaches you how to build your life, how to build your confidence, how to stop worrying about what's going on the outside and start worrying and fixing the stuff inside of you. And that's what I just love.
Well, I just have to jump in, Bronte, and say I do have a book. Oh.
Yeah. Great. Go for it. Share. You've got so many books behind you. There's got to be something good back there.
So this one is the first one I have properly read in a long, long time, called Rocket Fuel by Gino Wickman and Mark Winters. And a woman that I know who's very successful in business sent it to me and said, you've got to read it. And I was like, yep, thanks very much. As you say, and I work with so many authors and everybody sends me their books as well. But this one is about if you are wanting to start a business or if you're a female founder and you really want to grow it, it's about understanding your skill set and what you need to rocket fuel your business, I guess. And what I've realized is I'm a visionary, which I kind of knew anyway, but it talks and it defines where your strengths and weaknesses are, and how you need an integrator and what kind of skills and abilities you need to complement your own skills. I absolutely love it. She told me it would make a big difference to me, and I was like, yeah. And I just decided I would read it, and it's brilliant. And the other thing I wanted to say is to agree with Dipal. I saw Wayne Dyer talk a few times. I absolutely love him. He's the only one of those sort of self-improvement people that I really, really resonated with me. I love him.
That's great. Same here. I love him too. I haven't heard of that book, but I will definitely look it up. Jules, do you just want to hold the cover of the book up? Sorry, the screen cut you off when you were trying to show it.
Sure.
You want to hold it up so everyone can
Hang
see
on,
what the
trying
front
to
of the
get
book
it the
looks
right
like.
way. There you go.
Great. Awesome. Everyone can go find that now. So this one's a bit obvious considering we've kind of talked about this already, but Dipal, how do you help people build their confidence?
So a lot of the lack of self-confidence, I feel like it comes from our childhood experiences, and even as adults, we have all these experiences in life and we create beliefs. And so that's where our confidence gets shot. So that's what I work with. I help people, I empower them by listening to them and helping them through affirmations, through different breathing exercises, and writing down their achievements and accomplishments. And I find that that has been the most valuable exercise, because a lot of times, you know, even when I started my business and even right now, I'm starting to get out into the media and doing news media. And
Well
for
done.
me, yeah, thank you. And so for me, it's a matter, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm going through the course and I'm like, I haven't accomplished much, you know, I haven't really done much. And then I started writing it all down and I was like, oh my goodness, you know, and I think we all need to do that exercise, because truly we have all accomplished. We are all accomplished. And, you know, just writing down the affirmation, I can, and I am capable, right, to achieve whatever it is I want in life. I think that's huge. Our achievements are huge. And just recognizing them is a big deal.
That is great. I think that comes to, you know, the whole comparison is a thief of joy. When you start comparing your accomplishments to someone, you know, further along the journey than you, you're like, I haven't done anything. But if you just compare yourself to yourself, you're like, wow, I've done a lot. And you're right, that is so important. So what about you, Jules? How do you help people build their confidence?
Well, it's so funny you should say that, because, and it's so funny that Dipal, you gave that example, because one of the things that I have done through 10 years of working with a lot of women, particularly with PR, is that women don't have confidence in themselves. I see it time and time again. And so you're going to love this, Dipal. I set up a program called Fig Jam. I don't know whether anyone knows what that acronym stands for, but it basically stands for F I'm great, just ask me. And the reason, and so what I did was I realized that most women don't have a good bio. And if they don't have a good bio, you can't get out into the media and you can't build a profile, because the first thing a journalist is going to ask for is, give me some background about you. So I've set up a program where a journalist will write your story for you. So you tell them your story, they go off and write it, and then you tweak it. But the reason that I called it Fig Jam is because at the end, people, exactly as you say, look at themselves and go, oh my God, is that me? Like, I can't believe this person sounds amazing. And most women are amazing. Most people are amazing, but particularly women in business are amazing, and they don't think they are. I hear it all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So through Handle Your Own PR, I'm teaching people that they are all worthy of the media, and they should all be in mainstream media, in the news media, on television, on radio, and that it's not hard to do, and that everybody is an expert in their own field. And then through She's the Boss, I spend my whole time lifting women up and going, you are extraordinary, you are amazing, go and change the world.
Mm-hmm.
That is so powerful, both of you. I love both those examples. So, Deepa, what advice would you give to someone who's wanting to build their confidence, but they're not quite sure how to step out of their comfort zone and do it?
Yeah, so I feel like building confidence, it's something that, again, has been entrained within our minds that, you know, because we have had failures in life, we feel like we live off of those failures. Like, can I? I don't know if I can. And we keep living in the past. And so my advice would definitely be, let's look at our lives now and what we can do. And when we get out of our own way and have fun with life, and knowing that it's you, you're making a difference, you're doing it because you want to have fun, you're happy, you're joyful. I mean, all the happiness and joyful will come when you have fun, right? And building that confidence, just again, it comes from believing in yourself, and you can do it. And all you have to say is, yes, I can. You know, just practicing the yes, I can in the mirror, practicing it in the car, practicing it, make it your mantra, right? Yes, I can. And watch everything in your life just open up and manifest. Because now you're telling the universe, yes, I can. And so it'll bring those opportunities to you. And you ladies have expressed again and again how things have opened up for you. They just came to you when you said, yes, I can. So that's how I help women build confidence and just empower them, because they've been told too many times that they're a failure or they can't do it. And you know, when you feel like you're limitless, you can go beyond what you're capable of.
It's so true. I love that. And how about you, Jules?
I pretty much agree with Dipal. I think it's, look, I mentioned earlier, fake it till you make it. I think I actually feel like confidence is a mindset. It's something you need to practice. And therefore, even if you don't feel confident, you've got to pretend that you are. And ultimately, it will start coming to you. Yeah. But everyone is extraordinary, but they don't realize they are until other people start saying it to them, until they see that reflected in people around them. And that reflection will come if you just, I don't know, clench your butt cheeks and just go forward, even if you're really nervous, and it'll all come together for you.
Yeah, that is so true. So how can people connect with you, Dipal?
Yeah, you could just go to my website, anandaforlife.com. That's ANANDA, the number 4, life.com. And you can also go to the Contact Us page when you get there and just connect with me that way. Or you can also go to my YouTube channel, which is Dipal Shah.
Great. And how about you, Jules?
For me, look, if anybody loves LinkedIn, then jump on there. I absolutely have fallen in love with LinkedIn in the last year and a half, and I'm all over it. So it's a very good way to get hold of me. Otherwise, she'stheboss.com.au is where I have all the She's the Boss stuff. And from there, you can find all the links to the podcast, the TV shows, and the lunches. And then handleyourownpr.com.au is the DIY PR business. I'm on Facebook. I'm shit at Instagram, so I'm not on Instagram. Don't send me messages there. I'll probably take 6 months to get back to you. But in LinkedIn and Facebook, you can get hold of me straight away.
Yeah, that's great. I love it. You just got to own it, right? Not,
Yeah.
And I'm the same. I've fallen in love with LinkedIn, and that's my place. I love seeing you on there, Jules. So that's great.
You,
do you have, before we go, do you have any best advice or favorite quote to live by? Otherwise, any final words you'd like to share?
Me?
Dipal, sorry.
Oh, yeah, sure. This is my favorite quote. Do not try to fix whatever comes into your life. Fix yourself in such a way that whatever comes, that you will be just fine. And this is a quote by Sadhguru. And it's how I believe that we can all be happier humans and move forward and move through our lives with ease and grace. But it all has to start with self-love, self-compassion towards yourself. And, we're the ones responsible. What happens in our body, what happens within us, no one else is responsible. And here's something that I've been telling myself lately, and it goes along with self-confidence, that no matter what you accomplish and what you do, no one else cares except you. So you are responsible for building your own self-confidence, right? Even though sometimes we depend on other people outside of us to help us and assist us, but it's all going to come from within, and it will, and it definitely will. So, allow yourself to be open to anything that comes forward so that you could be happier and joyful.
That's great. Thank you so much. And Jules, have you got any favorite quotes or advice or any favorite final words you'd like to share?
Well, I use that age-old one that I know a lot of women use, but I absolutely love it, which is the Madeleine Albright quote that says there's a special place in hell for women that don't help other women, because I am very much of the opinion that we need to help each other to get equality. But the other favorite saying, and I thought everyone had heard it, but I only learned it myself recently, is be that person that in a room full of opportunities, you'll mention someone else's name. And I'm very big on that. I'm very big on help other people because it'll help you and it'll make you feel better. But that sends little goosebumps up and down my spine every time I hear that. Be that person to mention someone else's name in a room full of opportunities.
Yeah, that's so powerful. That's so true. Well, thank you both so much for being here. I just want to keep talking all day. It's been such a great interview. Thanks for taking time out of your day. I hope, Dipal, you have a great evening. And Jules, I hope you have a great morning.
Thank
I love
you.
that we're global and we
Thank
can
you.
speak all over the world. Yeah. And I'll see everyone else next. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.